How can we take advantage of these big moves in US stocks? How can we build a watch list every week to find these trades that are setting up? And I see so many videos on YouTube around US stocks, finding US stocks pre-market on news, finding the gaps, trading that stock and going for that early morning move, going for that dollar run, getting those 100 points and being done for the day. I think that's a great way of trading. That's where I started 20 odd years ago, day trading stocks that gap up pre-market. And I'm still using my TradeStation hot list gap scanner to this day, and I absolutely love it. But there is another way. Or if you're maybe looking to get into trading US stocks, maybe you're based in the UK using a spread betting broker to trade these US stocks, because some of these stocks have their spread is quite wide, and if it's not the stock that the spread's quite wide necessarily, it's the broker that's creating these wide spreads if you're based in the UK and got a spread betting broker. So I'm going to show you how to slow it down a bit, and it might be good for you day traders of US stocks that are not doing too good trading these gaps in the morning move, because pre-market, because you need to be quick. You can easily make mistakes, and it can be a little bit frustrating at times. But when you suddenly get those lovely gapped up stocks that go on that morning move, there is nothing better than that. But on this video, on this lesson, I'm just going to show you how maybe to slow it down a bit and use different time frames to start with, and then go down to your smaller time frames, because there's other stocks out there that are not having the gaps up and down, and there's still fantastic opportunities to trade these. Now, I start as a day trader. Of course, I'm looking for those gaps in the morning. Now, I start as a day trader really on a Saturday or a Sunday, and I'm looking at the weekly time frame. So I start my week on the weekly chart. I go to the weekly time frame. I'm looking to see what the candlestick is going to do, and I'm a technical analyst trader, so I'm going to look at charts all the time. Nothing's based on news at all, and I want to see what one candlestick does. All I'm interested in is the current candlestick really that I want to be trading. I'm not really concerned about trends, and anyway, but we could be looking at support and resistance lines, trend lines, channels or whatever. That is perfectly fine. That's something I'd certainly do. But to keep it really simple to start with, I just want to concentrate on last week's candle, but what's going to happen to this week's candle. Because if I'm looking at the weekly time frame, I've got potentially 5 days worth of trading. There's 5 days in 1 week, of course, isn't there? So if I can get a trade that runs for 2 to 3 days, then I might not make 100 points. I might make 500 points on some of these trades. All right, so I'm going to show you what I do here. I'm looking for stocks that are going to have a momentum move, and last week's trades were really all based around we traded BuzzFeed, we looked at Home Depot, we looked at Marriott, but Visa here is one that was quite interesting. You can see that it had a double trend predictor. The momentum for last week was down, even though this was a green candlestick. You see the high here at 280. Well, the low here was $274. That's a big move, guys. If you look at Salesforce here, one that wouldn't have come up on any gap scan whatsoever, had a trend predictor. The momentum on our indicator was going down. We had a high OBS indicator. You could use a MACD if you wanted to. But this red arrow was saying to us, you've got to literally be putting this in your watch list, Salesforce stock, and seeing if it pushes down for the week. So look, as I'm entering these trades, I'm not going to be entering the trade on a weekly chart. The stop will be too wide. I won't be able to get a big enough position size. I want to start going down. So as I start with the weekly time frame here, I want to then move down to the 4 hours. So if I think the weekly is going to go down this week, I'll be looking for a red sell signal in the 4 hours. And once I get that sell signal, then I'm down to my smaller time frames. I know some of you day traders will be happy for me to say 5-minute charts or 2-minute charts, because they're the time frames they're using to get into these trades. So now I've got this watch list, or this process, where I'm starting my week on the front foot, and that's where you want to start. Okay, so then I look at the market here, and I look at 4 hours, I get my setup. Okay, now I want to find the trigger. Now I go down to the 4-hour time frame, and you can see for the whole of the week here was green. I thought the candlestick was going to come down and give me a setup to short, but I didn't get the red until Wednesday. It started kicking pre-market Wednesday. That's great. But the 4-hour time frame's still too wide for me. The candlesticks are too wide for me to put a stop anywhere. So what I want to do then is go down to the 5-minute chart. So the 4 hours has turned red. That's the next step. Now I'm looking for shorts to get the reds off, okay, on the 5-minute. When I get the reds off on the 5-minute time frame, my momentum indicator starts to sell off here. Then I'm literally looking for short trades only. Anything red, I'm short. Stop behind the swing higher. I'm going for a dollar run at least. But at least the weekly time frame is giving me a high probability setup of where momentum, price momentum, is going to go for 5 trading days potentially. And that's how I build my watch list. That's how we build our watch list here. We don't always rely on the stocks that are gapping up and gapping down. Home Depot here, lovely trend predictor, momentum down. I'm looking for shorts for 2 weeks in a row, this week and last week. We go down to the 4-hour time frame. We're looking for reds, red sell signals on our indicators and systems. These moves are fantastic. You can make a living doing these types of trades, literally with a bit more of a slower style of trading than the gap and run stocks. This allows you to trade multiple different markets, not just the gaps. And so what you want to do when you find these setups, just right click, stick it in your watch list for the day, for the week. And I do the same thing for FX. I do the same thing on the monthly time frame, and I do the same thing no matter what market I'm trading. But particularly with these US stocks that are gapping up or down pre-market, if you're not getting the rewards you want, slow it down. Become more of a technical analyst. Look at the weekly chart. Look at, trend lines that might be setting up, support and resistance areas. Looking at opportunities where the price is going to move. Double bottom here, nice double bottom. It goes up for one candlestick. One candlestick could be 500 points, $500. You can make a very nice living with this. Divergence here, looking for long trades. All right, so use the tools that you've got with your charts. Don't always rely on the gap ups and downs, because there are going to be times, if we go into bear markets, if we go into quieter summer trading, then those stocks, we might not get as many gap ups or gap downs. So we need to go hunting in other places as well as those gaps. All right, so keep your eye on those momentum stocks, guys. And I like to use those weekly charts. McDonald's here, beautiful move down for several weeks. And I think, if you're somebody, the way I like to manage my day trades here is I like to get that dollar run, get that stop to break even, bank half the profits, and I like to put then that stop to break even and then use the weekly time frame to hang on, because then the account can really grow over several days. And once I get that stop to break even, as long as there's no gaps above my stop position, I've got a risk-free trade. All right, so keep your eye out. There are hundreds of these US stocks that you can trade and are setting up these patterns on a regular basis. Maybe you need to look in other places as well, and especially for you beginners that are struggling with the gaps, then maybe just slow it down a bit and then go from weekly, 4 hour, 5 minutes. Hope it helps, guys, and I'll speak to you soon.